Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to show. This is the show 250, and we are on chapter 15 of the personal testimony of my history, my personal testimony. Now, as you recall, I was excommunicated from the cult of the Children of God Family International, founded by David Berg, alias Moses David. They excommunicated me for being an independent thinker and for not worshiping David Berg, who supposedly was the prophet of Ezekiel 34, prophesied in the Old Testament to gather God's children in the end time. I could not worship him because I worshiped Jesus. I had Jesus in my heart by the time I joined that group. Although the group had some positive things, there were some things that were kind of fishy. And they ended up giving me the boot, you know. And then they make you feel bad. They make you feel like, oh, once you get the boot from that group, you're on your way to nasty life, you're on your way to failure, to misery, to you failed God. They make you feel really bad about yourself because you didn't make it in that cult, in that sect. That's the way it was with the Children of God Family International. So I was lost but a sauce, man, and they told me to go back to the States and go do whatever, live a mediocre life. No, Pedro, live a mediocre life there because I failed God. So I went to Miami, spent some time with my family, and trying to recuperate from this, smoke some weed, detox with some marijuana, which did me a lot of good. And then I didn't know what to do with my life, so I said, let me go back to my homeboys. Let me go back to the hood. Let me go back where I came from, Bay Shore, New York, Long Island. Let me go find my old hippie friends, my drug friends, and get back to reality and get away from this cult shit. So that's what I did, and I go back to New York, man, and it was, all my hometown, my drug friends, oh yeah, the hippie life, getting back to the hippie life. Now I'm still a hippie. Well, I was always a hippie. Anyway, now I'm the hippie pastor, as you may know. So yeah, so I go back there, and it was wonderful, getting back, smoking weed, and hanging out with the homies, and beautiful freedom, man, freedom. And I started to feel good about myself again, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? You feel me? Can you feel me with that? And I really had to get a hold of my spiritual life, man. I mean, it was completely out of whack. So what happened was that I in one of those parties with the hippies and stuff with my homeboys, there was some mescaline. That would be like organic, synthetic peyote, right? Mescaline. Peyote is organic mescaline, and then there's pills that is synthetic mescaline. And I popped one of them babies, and it was a lot better. It's a lot better than LSD. I've done like 200 trips of LSD in my drug hippie career. But mescaline is a lot nicer because it's more mellow. Like, it's not paranoia. With LSD, you feel more paranoid, it's more intense. So with mescaline, it's more relaxing. So I took my mescaline at a party, and holy moly, holy shit, man. I mean, I felt so good. I felt so relaxed. I was the spirit world, man. I mean, I felt it really hitting me and delivering me from the curse of the Children of God Family International, David Berg, Moses David, liberating me from the condemnation, from the feel bad about yourself, and in putting me in tune with the galaxy, with the universe, with the God, with the Spirit of God, not with religion, not with church, but with reality, with the real essence of Mother Nature. It was such a beautiful experience and liberating experience. And then my name is Julio, right? Julio. Hey, Julio. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Julio Bobby, because it was Julio Robert. But I received a name, like a Bible name. A name came to me, Solomon, like King Solomon, the guy with 1,000 wives, right? The rich guy. The wisest man, and I received that name for myself like a spirit name. It came to me as a spirit name, meaning representing spiritual liberation and independence, and not ever falling prey to some cult or some guru that wants to lead you by the nose and show you the way, when you are free to find your own way because you're a child of God. And that name Solomon came to me as a new name, as a baptism from God for freedom, for rebellion against religion, for rebellion against false Christianity, for rebellion against these manipulators and cults that want to make you, manipulate you and make you feel bad if you lose their control, if you don't worship them, because they don't like independent thinkers. They're going to show you the way. They're going to give you their interpretation. You're not allowed to interpret nothing, or else you go into hell, and they'll scare you with this hellfire and a horrible life and all this kind of crap. So Solomon was like a liberation for me, that name. And then I started writing and stuff. And then, in one of those parties, at the party of the Mescaline, I started seeing all these hippie guys, all these friends, all these pals. It was like 100 people in that house, tripping and smoking weed. And holy shit, I said, these people, they're like sheep without a shepherd. They're beautiful people. They don't believe in religion, but they're better than religious people. Better. More human. They have a heart. Not like these phony Christians, evangelicals that go around pointing fingers that don't, cold as ice, heartless motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You feel me on that? So I decided that, I decided, holy shit, these people need God, they need Jesus, but in the hippie way, in the free way, not in the religious way. They need a spiritual awakening. It was such a like a revelation for me. I just had a heart for these people, these lost souls. That's what they were, lost souls. So I started eventually printing my own literature, and distributing literature. And I kind of didn't have a job at the moment, and I was kind of, hustling for money. So then I got an idea. No, I got tired of this fucking job, and I had an idea. I said, let me print this literature, and I'll distribute it and ask for a tip. And that's what I did. And it worked out great, man. I was like, making, $100 and standing in front of a 7-Eleven, distributing a beautiful message, not, just begging for money, but really getting, and not selling the pamphlets, just giving them and asking if they'd like to help out my missionary work, my independent missionary work, and man, I'd make like $100 in a couple of hours. It really lifted me out of poverty. I did not do it for the money. I did it because for the love of the people. But then the money started coming in without me really looking for it. People started helping me out left and right. It was beautiful. That was a very good experience back in Bayshore, New York, where I had a reawakening, like a rebirth. Solomon, freedom, signifying rebellion against the religious system, and freedom to worship God however the fuck you want, to love God as you please, and accept yourself as a sinner, because there's one sinner and there's one Savior. There ain't no two Saviors here, okay? I'm a sinner. So, I ain't gonna cover my sins. And then I got Jesus that loves me and accepts me in my sinful nature. I just got to be careful, Hey, moderation is the key, brother and sister. Anyway, that's what happened with that, and it was beautiful. And then I felt after some months in that situation, something told me, an inner voice told me it's time to leave. Head south, go back to Florida, visit your parents or your family, whatever. I started on my way there. Hitchhiking. I went down to, getting into Florida toward Miami, and I met this beautiful girl. She was from New Jersey, blonde, blue eyes. I mean, she was sexy as hell, and she had been in the same exact cult or sect, which you want to call it. She had been a member of that group, and she also left because they sexually abused her a lot, because there was a lot of sexual freedom in the Children of God and the Family International. But they were going overboard because her and the one sister were the only females in that particular commune. I think it was in California, and they got tired of being, they were treating them like rag dolls. Come here, baby, it's my turn. The brotherhood, the brothers were screwing the heck out of these sisters, and they were in pain, man. It no longer was fun for them. They were just being used. Yeah, then my turn. Okay, hurry up, time's up. You got 10 minutes with this bitch. And this is a religious organization. So they left and she left, and then we crossed paths on my way to Florida. It was amazing, and we fell in love. In love. I fell totally in love with her, and we shall continue. And I love you too, so don't feel bad about yourself.